All right, let's talk sparkling water. I mean, what is actually going on inside that bottle? Today, we are going to dive deep into the incredible science behind that fizz, from the chemistry that makes it bubble to the really surprising reason it feels so sharp on your tongue.
You know that feeling, right? You take a sip, and it's kind of spicy. It's a weird feeling for something that's just supposed to be water. Well, if you've ever wondered why that is, you're in the right place. We're about to figure out the secret behind that famous bite. But, before we can understand the bite, we have to understand the bubble itself. So let's start with the absolute basics. What is actually happening inside one of these bottles? At its heart, it's actually super simple. Sparkling water is just good old H2O that's been infused with carbon dioxide gas, CO2. But here's the magic ingredient: pressure. It's the pressure that forces all that gas to dissolve right into the water. And that psst sound you hear when you twist the cap? That's it. That's the sound of all that pressure being released. And the second that happens, all the carbon dioxide that was hiding in the water wants out, and it escapes as thousands and thousands of tiny little bubbles.
Now, you've probably seen a few different kinds at the store. Let's quickly break them down. Seltzer, that's the purest stuff, literally just water and CO2. Club soda has minerals added to it, which gives it a specific taste. And sparkling mineral water, that's the fancy stuff. It gets its bubbles and its mineral flavor totally naturally, straight from the spring.
Okay, so we know it's in the water. Now let's get into the chemistry of how those bubbles are actually born. It's a really cool little reaction that's happening right there in your glass.
So when the carbon dioxide dissolves, it's not just kind of floating around in there, it's actually reacting with the water molecules. And what it creates is a very weak acid called carbonic acid. This right here is the crucial first step, and it's what gives sparkling water that slightly tangy taste.
You can really think of the whole thing as a simple four-step process. First, pressure shoves CO2 into the water. Second, it reacts and makes carbonic acid. Third, you pop the top, releasing all that pressure. And fourth, the whole reaction goes in reverse. The CO2 turns back into a gas and escapes as that fizz we love.
All right, we've covered the what and the how. Now for the main event. Why does this simple little chemical process create such a weird, almost spicy feeling?
So let's ask it again. What is really going on here? Is it the bubbles popping? Is it that carbonic acid? What is actually causing that sharp bite on your tongue?
And here is the absolutely surprising answer. That feeling? It's not coming from your taste buds at all. It's a physical sensation. It's about touch. Your body's nervous system is literally reacting to the chemistry in the water.
Get this. The real culprit is your trigeminal nerve. It's this network of nerves in your face that doesn't really do taste. It handles sensations like temperature, pressure, and even pain. Think about the cooling feeling of mint or the burn from wasabi. That's your trigeminal nerve. Well, the carbonic acid in sparkling water triggers the exact same nerve receptors that detect capsaicin, the stuff in chili peppers. So when you say it feels spicy, you're not wrong. Your brain is literally getting a similar signal.
Okay, so now that we've totally geeked out on the science, let's tackle those questions that always pop up. Is this stuff actually okay for you?
First thing everyone asks, what about your teeth? Well, yeah, sparkling water's a little bit acidic because of that carbonic acid, but it's nothing, and I mean nothing, compared to sugary sodas and juices. Studies have shown that plain sparkling water does not seriously erode your tooth enamel, making it a way safer choice.
And what about the rest of your body? Well, the answers here are pretty straightforward. For digestion, it's a mixed bag. It can actually help some people, but for others, it might make things a little gassy. And the big one, hydration. Yes, it is absolutely just as hydrating as regular still water. Your body gets the same H2O.
Okay, for our last section, let's explore something a little more subtle. If it's all just water and CO2, why do different brands of sparkling water taste so different?
It really boils down to three main things. First, the carbonation level. Think about big, aggressive bubbles versus those tiny, delicate ones. That makes a huge difference. Then you've got mineral content, which can add flavors like saltiness. And finally, whether it's artificially carbonated or comes from a natural spring, can change the whole taste. And hey, before we go, here's one last amazing fact for you. That fizziness does something else that's really cool. As the bubbles pop on your tongue, they create this thing called evaporative cooling, which basically tricks your brain into thinking the drink is colder and even more refreshing than it actually is.
So the next time you take a sip, just remember, you're experiencing a little bit of physics, a dash of chemistry, and some amazing neurological trickery all at once.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? If science can make water feel spicy, what other everyday things out there are just waiting for an explanation? Thanks for joining in.